The real deal. What's crack-a-lackin', guys? It's Jake from The Real Deal Airsoft. Welcome back to episode 4 of the VFC MP5 AEG upgrade series. In the last episode, we threw in some SHS 13:1 ratio gears and showed you exactly how to shim them. If you missed that, make sure to check it out. Now that all the gears are shimmed, we're going to go ahead and drop in this Optical Mosfet. I did have to modify the gearbox, but that's standard with most V2 installations. I personally used a Dremel and sanded down this one spot right here, but you can do it with sandpaper or file. And again, just sand down this little area until it's perfectly smooth. What's included in your installation kit is a connector set, which includes DIN connectors and motor connectors, as well as heat shrink, gearbox stickers, selector plate stickers with a wide variety of them, and 2 different sets of mounting screws and washers. They're slightly different in size. Depending on which gearbox you have, only one of these sets will fit your gearbox. Let's start with the easy stuff first, putting our selector plate sticker on. This sticker is necessary for the Gate Aster to be able to identify what position the selector switch is in. If it's in safe, full auto, or semi, or whatever you program it to be, this is how the Gate Aster is able to identify. When installing the sticker, you want it to look like this. I recommend using a pair of tweezers to do this, it helps a lot. Boom. Step number 2 will be installing the gearbox sticker. This part requires necessary modification of the gearbox. We talked about that in the beginning of the video. Once your gearbox has been modified, go ahead and place this sticker. You heard? Boom. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get to installing the Gate Aster. First thing you need to do is remove your safety lever. It's just one screw and a spring. And make sure your gearbox is dry and clean. Remember when I told you that the kit comes with 2 different mounting set screws? For my VFC MP5, I'm using the M2 kit. There's also an M2.5. It's slightly larger. The placement of this board is very important. You want a 1mm gap over your sector gear bushing or bearing, whatever you have, and this perfect gap looks just like this. The reason for this is so that the sensors can read the position of your sector gear for cycle detection and other features. Also, for this mounting screw, the order of the washers is very important. There's a metal washer and a non-metal washer. But if there's a lot of play between the board and the screw, then you must use it. It's kind of like a shim. In my case, I had to use all the washers, but be very careful in the order that you put it. Do not have the metal washer touching the board. That can create a short. Alright guys, so let's start putting this thing back together, you know what I'm saying? So you want to put your safety lever back, then once you're done with that, you want to start routing your wires. I recommend putting a piece of electrical tape on the bottom of a small Allen key and using that to push the wires down. You don't want to strip anything. Also, when you pass the wires under the motor hole, I usually place glue here to prevent the wires from rising up and getting clipped by the motor. Boom, bang, pow. Real deal upgrades, you heard? Alright guys, this is the gearbox with everything inside. Originally when I had the gearbox closed and I did some initial testing, I noticed that my bevel gear was a little bit too tight. So I'm just removing one shim right now. And don't mind me, whenever I remove a shim, I always write it down because it's so easy to get lost in the sauce. And if you lose track of your shims, you'll have to start all over again. Once we're done with this, we'll head right into programming. Alright guys, let's get into some of the programming. I'm going to be programming with the Gate USB link. This little guy right here, this programming module. You have to download the Gate control station software, which I already did. Real deal, what you know. Let's plug it in. If you check right here, it'll show you all the codes. The first thing you want to do is update your software, so immediately once you plug it in, that's the first thing you have to do. Right over here on the firmware version, it'll say update now. Do that. And the reason why it's necessary to do that is because the old software had some bugs and sometimes it would shoot unsafe, but this patches everything. So once you update your firmware after like 2 minutes or so, we can get into some of the cool programming options. You got cycle detection on, definitely want that. Let's go to trigger, let's program the trigger. You would come here, if you have a regular trigger, you click next. If you have the quantum trigger, I'm really curious about that, I'm gonna try it eventually. Alright, we're going to program this to be a little bit more sensitive. I don't like 16, 11 seems to be my sweet spot. Alright, I like 11, we're going to lock it in at 11. Go to select the switch, you'd have to recalibrate this as well. So recalibrate, put this to safe. Put the semi. These are the cool options here. This is the basic module. Let's go to binary and let's stick to auto. Let's save that. Let's see what we have here. Any alerts? No. Any warnings? Alright, so let's see if it saved the binary feature. One stage trigger. This is also programmable to be two stage like an AUG, where the first half of the trigger pull is semi and the back could be a burst or a full auto. So that's pretty cool, but we're not trying to mag dump the rental kids, you heard? So let's see how this rocks. Go ahead and unplug that. Let's take our LiPo battery. 11.1, 20C discharge. Alright, again, I think that's a little bit too OP. I'm not trying to mag dump. Over here is where you can set pre-cocking, but I'm not doing that. It's unnecessary stress for me. This is good enough trigger response. And I want burst. What type of burst? I'm gonna go with a 3-round burst, and I want it to be full. I don't want it to be interruptible. I want it to do the full round. Let's do that. Alright. Magazines. Any alerts? No. And that's how you install the Gate Aster and program it, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you know a friend that's having an issue with it, share this video to them. Let's help the community learn and grow. Until next time, see you on the field. The real deal.